has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand. Jessop's Journal is a collection of powerful, positive, and inspirational stories. It's time for Jessop's Journal.
Hi, I'm Doug Jessop. Welcome to Jessop's Journal. In this episode, we visit with powerful, positive, and inspirational folks. This First Lady, not only has she been on American Idol, she has this family connection with this little song you might have heard of, White Christmas, and yes, she's going to sing it, and yes, you're invited to sing along. So what was this song that your great-grandfather sang?
Yes, he sang White Christmas with Bing Crosby. The Bing Crosby, and he sang as the first tenor in the quartet.
Really?
And so you can hear Grandpa every Christmas on the radio when they're singing the I'm dreaming of, you know. And it's beautiful. I just love it. It brings in warmth, and wherever it's, you know, it's played every single year.
We also have a pretty cool rags to riches story.
What I hope I can do in my work, right, on a day-to-day, is to contribute however small, however little I can, to that story of America, to this place where dreams are possible, where we want you to achieve your potential, to maximize your contribution.
Since we had one Christmas-related story, I figured, what the heck, let's do another, right? We visit with a manufacturer that builds cars, and get this, gives them away.
It started off with about 4 of them, and they would spread their legs until they touched each other, creating kind of an arena for these cars. And they would vroom, and then they would actually crash into each other.
A little demolition derby there. Yeah. I guess it's universal, right? But first, Katie Higley. So Katie, it's time to sign into Jessop's Journal.
Yay!
So thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome. I am very, very excited and happy to be here. So.
Well, I noticed you've got a couple friends here.
I do. You know, I always bring them along.
Okay.
Ever since I was young, I have, everywhere I've gone, I've brought my guitar, my ukulele, and when I was in college, I would literally bring I would stroll along my keyboard, because you never know where inspiration will strike, and you never know who you're going to meet.
That's true.
And so instruments are a way to connect and open yourself up to the possibilities around you.
So some kids use blankies, but no, you know, Katie uses ukuleles.
I do.
Okay. You were close to your grandparents.
Yes.
And where did they live?
Yes. Okay, so part of my family lived in West Hollywood, and that's where my grandpa grew up, and also Whittier and that area. And they, you know, we would go, and my mom would show us, go drive up the hills. And yeah, my grandpa grew up in going to the grocery store and seeing Marilyn Monroe, and and he wrote a whole book of it in the later part of his life. He recently passed away, and we had a big celebration of life for him. He was an entertainer himself, and loved commanding a crowd, I guess, you know, sharing and having fun and jokes. And his big thing, you know how I bring my ukulele? He always brought a kazoo. Wherever he went.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's better. It just fits in your pocket, right?
Right, okay.
But that was his thing, and him and my grandma, they were all entertainers themselves. That's actually why my grandpa loved my grandma, because the parties were always over at their house.
There you go.
And they would always be singing and playing, and so that just trickled down to their grandkids, because, you know, when we get together for an event, like family parties, we would sing our prayer before we would say a prayer and, you know, dig in. And that's something that's really unique and something that's really special to our family, that we sing Be Present at our table, Lord. And it's so powerful, the connection and the unity that music can bring into your life, into your space. It's quite incredible, and it's I wish everyone could experience those types of unity promoting experiences, especially with the family, like that is so important.
Right. So what was the song that your great-grandfather sang?
Yes, he sang White Christmas with Bing Crosby. The Bing Crosby, and he sang as the first tenor in the quartet.
Really?
And so you can hear Grandpa every Christmas on the radio when
I'll be darned.
they're singing the I'm dreaming of, you know. And it's beautiful. I just love it. It brings in warmth, and wherever it's, you know, it's played every single year on repeat. I'm sure a lot of people hear it, but it's one of my favorites.
We're at the Church and State building.
Yes.
This used to be a church.
Gorgeous.
And from like the late 1800s.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of interesting to see you and hear you perform, but also to see kind of an expression of your soul.
The song is called Instrument of Peace. It was created on Black Tuesday. The words are originally from St. Francis of Assisi, and he lived in Italy almost 1,000 years ago, and I saw his words for the first time from a friend's Facebook post. And you know, you're just scrolling along, and I remember just seeing the words. I stopped by, thank you, Chantel, I've got to thank her. She's the one that posted it, Chantel McBride. She posted this beautiful prayer, and the words, I started reading them. Where there is hatred, let me bring love. And I started singing, immediately started singing it. And the words, and I was like, it's coming. So I had to go grab my ukulele and start playing and singing it, and it just flowed out, and it was a gift. And I praise God because He's a giver of all good gifts. And what was even more amazing about this, not only is it a unifying prayer, a prayer of the heart, it was a gift. And as soon as the song was done, as soon as I finished singing and playing the ukulele with it, and it was a complete and whole, there was a monarch butterfly that came into my home. And is that a coincidence? No, like that was His sign to me saying, this is your gift, Katie. This is a gift for everyone, because this is my message. And I knew that Heavenly Father's so good when you,
Francis of Assisi's.
Yeah.
Do you know what he is the patron saint of? Animals.
Really? I did not know that. So I'm not Catholic.
So there's your butterfly.
So there's my butterfly. That is amazing. This was a gift for me to share, because this message is needed right now. I feel like in the world we need peace, we need understanding. Just like how we're talking one with another, it starts with us conversing with each other and understanding each other's personal stories, because those have power and they have impact. And the more that we share, the more that we understand, and the less that we hate, and more peace can come in.
You've also been on American Idol.
Yeah.
Very cool. I understand you were a soul sister.
I was a soul sister.
Tell me.
I was named soul sister on my girls' camp when I was really young.
See, I knew there was a
and I loved
story.
gospel music. And so when this song came out by Train, and I was like, that's the song I'm going to sing.
Okay.
I just loved how happy it is. It's upbeat. It's a fun.
Give me a little bit.
Fun.
Here.
Hey, 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 your lipstick stains on the front lobe of my left side brain. I knew I wouldn't forget ya, and soon you went and let me blow your mind. Here's the chorus. Hey, soul sister, ain't that Mr. on the radio, stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight.
So who were the judges that you played that in front of?
It was for Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and Luke Bryan.
So was that ever so slightly intimidating?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, duh.
You walk through the room and there's like tons of lights and it's like, holy smokes, like.
I've got a special request.
Okay.
Now, I love gospel music.
Yay.
Have you ever heard of the song Swing Low?
Yes. We'll have lessons.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Swing low, sweet chariot, come for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. That was great,
I think that
Doug.
works.
Woohoo!
One of my favorite inspirational quotes is from Audrey Hepburn. She said, "To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow." It's time for a sing-along with Katie Higley on this week's Jessop's Jukebox. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. I mean, everybody knows those lyrics. I mean, and here's what's cool. Katie's great-grandfather, he sang that very song with Bing Crosby. I mean, you know, the real original White Christmas. Oh, man, had to have her sing it. So, Katie, take it away, White Christmas.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
Hi, my name's Doug. I'm a hataholic. Hi, Doug. This pork pie is called the Halo. So here's a question for you. What does the American dream mean to you? Engels, it's time to sign into Jessop's Journal. I understand that you are from, what, is it the Dominican Republic?
Dominican Republic, that's right.
So how old were you then?
I was 13 when I came to the U.S. In '95.
So where'd you end up going to school as a kid?
Initially, I spoke no English, and I started at an ESL program at a school called Hillside that is just east of 13th. And then about 3 months into that, went full-time English at East High School. And the school was all English, I wasn't still. So spent quite a bit of time still, working off a dictionary and that sort of thing. But.
So what kind of adjustment did you have from, because I don't have any idea what the Dominican Republic is like. So you go to Dominican Republic, then you go here, and then you go to East High.
Yes.
Okay. So do you remember your first day at East High?
Absolutely. On my first day, the students walk out. And they line up on both sides of 13th East.
Whoa.
And they're yelling at each other. And of course, at this point, I'm thinking, I'm sort of familiar with this. This is, in Dominican Republic, the students walk out and line up when they're about to start riots and protests, and they often turn violent. So I kind of stay back in my room, in my classroom, and kind of seek shelter. The students were arguing over the Gay-Straight Alliance, which at the time was a breakthrough proposition, and it was, I think, the start of a much larger movement we've seen evolve since then. But what happened out of this is that because I sheltered in place, I was in Mrs. Emery's class, who was a math teacher then, Rosemary Emery, and who became a lifelong mentor, and I think someone who truly changed much of the course of my life.
Well, it does seem like there are those seminal moments and those people in your life.
Yep.
For me, it was Mama Hughes. Okay, Mama Hughes. Okay, she was a literature teacher, back in California. But so, what kind of impact did this woman have on your life?
Yeah, I can't overstate it. I would come in and stay after hours in her classroom, after school, and she would stay after class, just walking through homework with me. But really, it was a moment for me to bounce off ideas of her. Should I drop out and just go back to Dominican Republic? Should I go to work? And her, kind of sounding back, saying, "Oh, that's silly. You're doing so well. Why don't you do this homework and bring it back tomorrow?" So that I had something to follow up on, and I wouldn't just fall off. And what happened is that one assignment at the time, I got through from pre-algebra to AP calculus, which is our, the highest math class we had. I wasn't particularly great at math, so this was a skill that took working. But along the way, she got me interested in AP biology, in AP chemistry, AP US history, which I, truly loved, and it just got me to a place that I don't think I could have gotten otherwise, and I think it changed my life. Towards the end of my time there, I joined the U.S. Army, and this was a conversation we had, and I said, well, what about, I'm basically living alone now, and what if I join the U.S. Army? She says, all right, go ahead and try it. And I remember going off to training, coming back, and thinking, okay, I'm definitely going to college. So she says, look, what you want to do is just drive down to Westminster College and sign up and tell them that, you want to start school next semester. They have this open enrollment thing. And I said, sure, you've been right about most of everything else. So she wrote a recommendation letter for me on the spot. I drive down to Westminster, and again, it's just one of these moments that change everything, because what they were able to do was to put me immediately into a program. They itemized for me on one single piece of paper all the how I was going to pay for things, where I was going to live, what kind of classes I needed to take, and so for the next 2.5 years, I had a military deployment in between, but that's where I, that was home. I discovered that I had a talent for corporate law, particularly corporate litigation, post-college at the University of Utah's law school. So I went to the University of Utah, to the S.J. Quinney College of Law, and after your first year, they do this process where law firms come on campus and interview students and then select students for their second summer at the school to work full-time at the law firm. It's a kind of paid internship.
Okay.
A friend of mine convinced me to apply. And, you know, and when I say convinced me, he really just kind of coached me into it. But again, I just didn't know that that was, you know, a viability. And I thought, frankly, it sounded boring to be doing just commercial transactions and that sort of thing. So I applied and I wrote this really funny cover letter. It turns out that the jobs that those firms were offering were the most lucrative jobs that you could possibly get out of law school. And there was intense competition for it. You know, typically these jobs go to the top 10, 20% of the class. And I, you know, I was flirting with those numbers, but not quite there. So I submitted it, and then I started doing these interviews, and I ended up with like several callbacks. And you know, I go back downtown, and I start seeing these places, and you know, I start getting exposure to them. And then I remember it vividly. A Friday, I start getting emails and letters back, and I opened the first of these offers from a firm that was in Milwaukee, a national firm. And it says, congratulations, we would love to have you come back as a summer associate. Your salary will be $1,700 a week. And at that moment, I remember it so vividly. I just kind of just dropped everything and fall apart. And what hit me is that that salary was twice what my mother was making in 1 year at that moment in Dominican Republic. Wow. So what happened then was that not just my life, but my entire family's life had changed. We are very communal. You know, my salary gets to this day shared across several households. Yes. And what that was about to do, you know, and I think it's something that I bring up because since then, and since I've been doing this work now for 15 years, we rarely talk about salary. Something happens in our circles where that just isn't a conversation. But for folks like me, it certainly was an important part. And I think, you know, importantly, and relatedly, I think if I think about it a little bit more, it was also a moment where I learned the value of my work, right? For the first time, really, where I was getting some feedback as to here is what all this work is leading up to, and the possibilities that would come from. So, so yeah, that's that moment, and I think it was, you know, I've remained in law firm work since then. It's certainly not just because of the compensation that we obtained, but certainly in part of it, because of it. And I think often back to that and thinking how horrible would it have been had I not applied and ever discovered that this was an opportunity for me. Because I really enjoy what I do now.
So this teacher, boy.
Yeah,
this
is all back to Mrs. Emery, all right back to her.
Engels, how do you want to leave your mark?
I think professionally, what I hope I can do in my work, right, on a day-to-day, is to contribute however small, however little I can, to that story of America, to this place where dreams are possible, where we want you to achieve your potential, to maximize your contribution, and to solve all the conflicts that come along with that diversity in a civil way. I think if I can do that while making a living, I'll be very, very happy at the end of all of this.
Life is never boring. Sometimes you have something I like to call the wonderful world of regret. If you've ever had a tattoo or permanent makeup that you've fallen out of love with, the folks at Tattoo Away have come up with a pretty cool system that literally removes the ink out of the skin. a little block of wood, 4 wheels, a window. It's a toy that a child can call its own. A child that doesn't have very much else. Welcome to Tiny Tim's Toy Factory.
The need is 500 million.
The Tiny Tim Foundation has made and given away over 1 million cars around the world. Bruce and Karen Powell delivered cars to Guatemala.
We were in a village up above Antigua, Guatemala, working on a school, and we ended up passing out a car to each one of the kids.
So tell me about these pictures.
Probably one of my favorite pictures is a little preschool girl, and it's almost like she has a dolly because she's cradling her car. And that one was really sweet.
It started off with about 4 of them, and they would spread their legs until they touched each other, creating kind of an arena for these cars. And they vroom, and then they would actually crash into each other.
A little demolition derby there. Yeah. I guess it's universal, right?
This is, for some kids, the only thing that they'll ever own until they become adults.
Puts in perspective, doesn't it?
It really does. When you have nothing, a little car like this can mean I have ownership in something, and I have something I can play with.
So why do you guys do what you do?
It gives you reality. It shows you how wonderful people are, how loving they can be when they have nothing. And for me, it gives me great hope and trust in humanity.
I know by now you're washing your nose, and hopefully you're washing your hands. Clear nasal spray washes away bacteria and helps you breathe better. So join me, I know you want to, take a deep breath and breathe. Thanks for watching this episode of Jessop's Journal. It's my honor to be able to share with you powerful, positive, and inspirational stories every week on TV, as well as online at jessopsjournal.com. Everyone has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand each other. With another entry into Jessop's Journal, I'm Doug Jessop.